Welcome back. This video will provide an overview of the Recalls module in HearForm Pro. The Recall feature in HearForm Pro is often called a reminder or a tickler file. We call it the Recalls area here, and if you click this button right here, which we'll cover in another video, it'll take you to a table where you can view a lot of your recalls as a list. Over on this side, we can set up our recall purposes, which we'll do in another video, and I highly recommend that you watch the other two videos called Recalls on the Home Screen and Recalls Table. But for now, we're going to click here, and this shows us that we have one recall. Again, you'll see this in another video, but we see the date of the recall here and the purpose for the recall right there in the recall area. Okay? So I'm going to go to the recall list by clicking right here. And this takes me to an area where I can add additional recalls. As you can see on the left side, we can have a start date if other than today's date, so that I can then click a button here to add from today's date, or whatever date that is, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days, or up to 6 weeks away, or up to 12 months away. Of course, I could just type in any number as well, any date in that field. So let's just click this 3-month button right here, and then we're prompted for the purpose for that. Well, it may be another clean-in check or something like that. Or I can click the 12-month button and put in a 1-year retest, something like that. Again, I can randomly put in any date, just like that. Maybe change the year there and then type in a reason here for counseling or a follow-up or anything else. So I can have an unlimited number of recalls per patient. And as you can see, the recall that's furthest out is ranked at the top, and the most recent is here towards the bottom as it starts to sort there. So in this area, as you can see, we have the recall date, the purpose. You can click the date icon right next to it. The purpose is a drop-down list of choices, which we'll cover in the other video. You can assign a clinician so that that clinician can find all his or her recalls as needed in a table view if desired. And we can put a comment in there that explains a little bit more about that recall. We can also mark a recall as complete. So for example, if I didn't want to delete that recall, which I certainly can do, you may want to keep it around as a historical reference. So if you want to simply mark something complete, just click that button, and as you'll see, the recall date went away, and now we have a date completed here. But this should not show up in any of our searches when we do searches for recall dates, because there is no date left to search. The rank also changes from a 1 to a 9. Now you can also rank these. So for example, this date 7/6/20, if I change this date here to a number 2 and this date to a number 3, then you'll notice how it can re-rank instead of just by recall date. And that's because rank comes first there. So just keep that in mind as you're putting in your recalls. I want to show you a couple of other areas here. We're going to cover how to set up your recall purposes in another video, but that's how you get to it from here. There's also a button on the home screen that you'll see. We also can do a bulk recall. Now, what does that mean? Well, for example, let me just isolate a small group of records here. So I'm going to isolate just a couple here. Isolate that one and that one. I'm pressing the Control-T key to omit those patients. We have 965 in our found set. I'm going to hit the pie chart, and that toggles and shows me the 6 that I just omitted. Now I'm going to do a bulk recall. What that means is when we're done, let's go ahead and delete this one just to make it a little bit cleaner. This patient has 3 recalls, and all the rest don't currently have any recalls. So what I want to do is create a bulk recall, and I can put in again a date if other than today. I can put up a reason by clicking the chart here, and I'll just say follow up. It could be anything you want. And then I'll insert a recall for all the patients in the found set. Well, obviously I don't want to do 971, but you may have found a group that match a particular criteria, like they're all coming in tomorrow for an appointment, or they came in yesterday, and you have 14 or 30 people that you want to create a bulk recall for. Obviously, you can omit some of those before doing this and then have a very specific group that you want to do it. So let's go ahead and do it. I'll click that button. Would you like to create a new recall for the entire found set, in this case of 6 records? Yes, create. Now let's take a look, and we're at the end. I'm on Eleanor Steele. She used to not have a recall, but all these patients, Hilda, Jeannie, and Jennifer, they all now have a new recall, and it's just that simple to create a bulk recall for a large group at once. It's really kind of a cool feature, very much a time saver. In the same way, I can create multiple recalls for a given patient. So I'm on Jeannie Sandoval here, and I can again put in a date here if it's not today, starting from today, but I'm going to say, let's say I want 4 repetitions. And I want to do this for every 6 months, but I do want to choose a reason. So let's do a clean and check 6 months and click the 6 months repetition button here. And what that should do is create 4 6-month checkups. Let's see if it works. And there we now have 4 6 months. They're all spaced apart by about 6 months. And just that easily, again, you may be working with a patient and say, I'd like to see you again in 6 months for the next 2 years or something. And now you have an easy way to do that. So that's a real nice way to be able to quickly set up bulk recalls or multiple recalls for a given patient. And as you'll see in a little bit, let's go to another area. I can click this button to find all recalls, which I'll do in a moment, or just past recalls, which means everything from today backwards. And it will take me to that table. Let's just go ahead and do that. And I'm taken to this list, and we'll cover this list in a subsequent video. But thank you very much for watching so far.